Hey everyone, how's it going? It's OSK here. You may have noticed by the title already, but today I want to talk about Bloodsport and just some random thoughts that I had off the top of my head. For those of you that don't know, Bloodsport is the newest mode to Naraka Bladepoint, and it is their solution, their version of a 1v1 battle arena, and it's in a bracket format with a best of 1 for the preliminary brackets and a best of 3 for the final round. In Bloodsport, players need to channel their inner warrior to make sure that they come out on top in each successive round, else they will get booted back to the home screen. In each different round, you get to pick a different weapon and character, and you cannot reuse the same ones until you get to the best of 3 round in the finals. So it's a pretty cool mode for Naraka Bladepoint, and I personally am enjoying it a lot. This is the only mode that I'm currently playing, and there's a good reason for that. And today I kind of wanted to go over some random thoughts that I had about it, just to give you guys, my brief synopsis of the new game mode, if I think it's healthy for the game, and where I see the current meta for the Bloodsport as well. So without further ado, if you like this sort of video, make sure you like and subscribe, and also check out an announcement at the very end of the video. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. So first, let's talk about how I'm liking the mode. Honestly, Bloodsport came out about a week ago, and I'm enjoying it very much. I think especially for players like me who are tired of the Battle Royale genre, this is definitely a good alternative, especially when compared to Bloodbath, which I personally didn't get that much enjoyment out of. I prefer the 1v1 engagements without any interruptions. This is a great mode for a player like me. And it's kind of funny, I really don't like fighting games, but there's something about Naraka's combat system with the MMO-esque style going for it, and it's got something that reminds me a lot of Black Desert Online, which I really enjoyed, but I just wish had a little bit of better netcode. But anyway, I digress. Bloodsport is definitely scratching an itch for me, and while I don't think it's perfect, I think it's a great addition to the game overall. And I say that it's a great addition in terms of its concept. The actual effect that it's had on the game has been a little bit less than ideal, and I kind of want to go over that as well in the next section. But for right now, we'll talk about just how I feel about Bloodsport, and overall, I really like it. There are a few things I would change, namely with the bracket system, it's only a best of 1, so if you lose one fight, then you're booted back to the home screen. Personally, I would like to see that being changed to a best of 3 system, and the final maybe even a best of 5, but I think that we definitely need to do away with the best of 1 system. That, in my opinion, is very detrimental to the mode, and I think best of 3 is just the way to go. If you really wanted to impress me, you could do a best of 3 system with double elimination, but, you do what you need to do, 24 Entertainment. Now, one thing I was very afraid of going into Bloodsport is players spamming what they deem is meta and what feels strong in the game. Personally, I've been seeing a little bit of that, but there's actually a fair amount of representation among all the weapons and characters in the current game, save for maybe Kurumi, but everybody knows why. I feel like players are doing a really good job of trying out new things in this new 1v1 mode, and while the maps aren't exactly that conducive to a 1v1 style fight, especially in some extreme circumstances, I definitely really enjoy the kind of variety that I'm seeing in my games. Now, I also think it was a good decision to leave out ultimates in this mode simply because of the size of the maps, and also ultimates can just decide a fight outright. So I think that relying on more the way that the players can express their skill through, character skills and weapon skill is a good move, in my opinion. And also, those of you who are tired of Matari ratting throughout the Battle Royale mode, she actually isn't that strong in Bloodsport from my estimation. So I think you'll be pleasantly surprised at the kind of, like I said earlier, the kind of variety of characters that we're seeing in this mode. I really like it. Now, in terms of the Bloodsport mode and what it's done for the overall game and where I see the health of it, especially in the West, it seems that the Western player base is a little bit too small to fully absorb the impact of splitting into another mode. I've personally been seeing a lot longer queue times in Battle Royale as everyone's trying out the new mode. And, stuff like Bloodbath and everything like that is getting a lot longer to queue for. In fact, in the second week of Bloodsport release, I even just yesterday, this would be October 18th of 2021, I experienced quite a bit of long queue times there at the end of the day, especially towards 11 and midnight. And you might say, well, OSK, that's kind of the time everyone's going to bed for work the next day or school and whatever. But even for Battle Royale, whenever it was getting late like that, it didn't exactly take 10 minutes to find a match, especially in my elo, because, I'm not the highest. You guys know all this. But I think it was very surprising that a 16-player mode was kind of getting some low queue times, or some longer queue times. and I find that very interesting. While I think a good amount of players from the West really like the Bloodsport mode, I do think that it is lacking a few areas that I mentioned earlier, so I think implementing changes to those things could definitely improve the perception of the mode and also just how it feels to play and the investment of time waiting through the queue to then get into a game where you're not dying off the rip and then having to wait another 2 to 3 minutes to find another fight. I think that shortening up that amount of downtime would definitely be a good thing on the whole. That all being said, of course, we have to talk about the VPN boys. They are still coming out in force for the Bloodsport mode. Personally, I haven't had too much of a problem with them. They seem better than average, but I've been dunking on them quite a bit, so it's not like it's going to be game-breaking or anything for them. There were a few instances where I encountered some teleportation bugs, and also there was a point in time where focus attacks wouldn't clash for whatever reason, and I imagine that this is due to VPN, but there's also been well-documented cases of hit detection errors in Naraka before, and this might be another instance of that. I really don't know, but I'm just kind of trying to document what I've been seeing in the games. If I'm being completely honest at this time, it seems that the Western player base, at least at the time of recording this video, is not exactly big enough to very healthily support both Battle Royale and Bloodsport and Bloodbath. I'm not really a big advocate of deleting a mode or anything like that, but I do think some more marketing around the Bloodsport mode could definitely be healthy for us here in the West and NA and EU and that sort of thing. Currently, it just kind of seems like the Western player base is dwindling just a little bit, and it's affecting queue time, so that's one thing I would like to see changed. That, and of course addressing the whole ping and VPN thing, but I know that's a very difficult issue for them to tackle, especially the way VPNs work, so I'm not really sure what the timetable is going to be on that. I do know from insiders that there is a team working on it. They've been working on it for like a month now. Don't really have any word on progress of it, but that's kind of just what I've been hearing. Alright, so we talked about how the Bloodsport mode in Naraka Bladepoint has been affecting the health of the game. We talked about my personal feelings. Let's talk a little bit about the meta. And I think this will be very consistent across the Battle Royale mode and Bloodsport, Bloodbath. It does seem that Dagger is pretty broken right now. Currently, you can do a charged right mouse button into pretty much anything, and if you don't get countered in that initial blue window where you can get countered, then you're just going to get stabbed 3 times, or better yet, even uppercutted for all of your health, because some characters have 0 to death combo, especially Valda. Love using Valda's F1. You're probably seeing it in the gameplay behind you. I haven't really looked at the gameplay yet, but anyway, yeah, Dagger's pretty strong. Greatsword's pretty strong, and Longsword's pretty strong. I would say that Dagger has definitely overtaken Greatsword and Longsword by a long shot, this patch especially. So I think Dagger is definitely a must-grab for at least one of your rounds in Bloodsport. And then obviously my order would be Dagger. I think I would also put Longsword above Greatsword, but only just barely. Greatsword is pretty dang strong. As long as you know how to play around the stone form and, not fall for any easy counters, just the amount of damage you can dish out for one mistake from your opponent is pretty high. So between those 3 weapons, I think you have a pretty good core, and really 3 weapons is all you need: Longsword, Greatsword, Dagger. You could also use Katana or Spear. Personally, I don't find them as consistent as the previous 3. Katana I see a lot more of than the Spear, but you do you. In terms of characters, I myself have been finding that Valda, Viper, and Yodohime have been pretty good. Yodo got the recent buffs to her F3, and honestly, it is a godsend. It is an absolute get-out-of-jail-free card you can stand within the Whirling Blade and just get a free heal off. Most of the time, if you start before your opponent, you can then close the distance and interrupt their healing. It's really, really nice, super free. Viper, of course, is going to be better with the Longsword or Katana. She can use her F2 ability to combo extend and that sort of thing. It's really, really nice. And then we're on to Valda. Valda Tsui is very situational in terms of there's a few weapons that are really, really good on her, and there's a few weapons that aren't as good. Personally, I've been using F1 with Dagger a whole lot. Dagger, like I said before, pretty damn broken. You can dash away from just about anything. It kind of provides its own defense, so I like using the F1 to sort of start a combo, or my personal favorite, even extend the core dagger combo where you charge R and B and then go into an uppercut and then just kind of string that together. That is very, very effective. It's a 0 to death, and basically your opponent can just put down their keyboard and mouse because they're not getting up from it. You can also use other weapons like longsword and katana with her F3 skill, which is probably a little bit safer, but I like to live on the edge because I'm just like that. So yeah, between those 3 weapons and those 3 characters, those are the ones that I use the most. Longsword, Greatsword, Dagger, and then Valda, Viper, Yoda. He made my 3 personal favorites from each of those categories. You could also use characters like, you could use Tien Hai and Tarkaji. I've been seeing quite a bit of. I wouldn't use Tumulch. I wouldn't use Kurumi. I wouldn't use Matari. Those characters are not as good from what I've been seeing. But yeah, those are my thoughts on Bloodsport. Let me know what your thoughts are down in the comments. I personally think it's a really, really mechanically good mode. There are a few adjustments I would make overall in the Western audience. It seems that we definitely need some more marketing love here in NA and EU just to kind of bring some new players back. Of course, I've been for at least the past 2 weeks, been an advocate of free-to-play and console release pretty soon. So that we can get those newer players in and have them experience whatever form of Naraka they want to. Overall, we just need a player count boost for the most part, and of course VPN boys, but you all know that. All right, guys, close out the video. Just a quick announcement that I am holding weekly 1v1 tournaments. If you'd like to learn more, you can go ahead and join the Discord down in the description below. Also, make sure you follow me on Twitter so you get some updates. And yeah, I think I'm going to call the video there. Make sure you like and subscribe. Sorry I've taken so long to make videos. I've been a little bit busy IRL, but I will see you guys in the next one. Have a good one.